Howdy, with this video, I want to go over the last essay, the career essay, and also go over the course schedule a little bit before we do that. So let's take a look at the course schedule. I'm doing this video on Friday, April 1st. That's not an April Fool's. But just returned your journals 7 and 8. And next week we're going to start working on the career essay. For Monday, there's nothing really particularly due. Want you to kind of go over that sample essay one more time, make sure you understand how the works cited page works, what you need to do for the citations. But basically, you're going to send me the URL for the sources you used, and then I'm going to do your works cited entries, but you still got to do the citations within the body of your essay. For next Thursday, the first 2 paragraphs of the essay are due. Want to make sure you're getting started on that. Then you're going to be working on the essay, kind of sending me the progress as you go. You kind of notice you're working a little bit more on your own. If you want to get ahead and get this essay done and get the semester done, you can do that if you want to. If you want to go with the schedule, that's fine. But the final version of the career essay is due on the 26th, along with the self-review. Should have all your material in your e-portfolio by then. Probably some of you already have it up there now. Then on the 28th, all late work's due, and then the final exam, which is simply journals 9 and 10, kind of wrapped into one big journal entry. So it's nothing you have to study for or sweat over. Just asking you some questions about the course, how it went for you, what we can do to make it better. Also, by then you should have your career essay back, and you're going to post that in e-portfolio for those last little bit of points. And that'll be it. We're going to finish a little bit early. I like to do that because you all need to focus on the classes you're here to do, right? You didn't come to Northeast State to take an English class. You came to get your certificate and whatever. But that's the schedule. We're kind of closing up a little bit here, right? So hopefully it kind of gives you a little motivation to finish up and do well. For the career essay, that's up there on the content page under essay assignments. Actually, it says career essay project, so don't be off it there. And you can kind of think about that sample essay we did for journal number 8, and think about this assignment as I go through it real quickly. I'm not going to read the whole thing word for word. You can read faster than I can talk, but you're going to write about a 1,000-word minimum essay that researches the job you hope to obtain with your certificate. The word count doesn't include your academic plan or the works cited page. You should have MLA formatting, and you should use at least 3 sources in your essay. I'm going to show you those here in a second. Once you try and do a short quote, long quote, summary, and paraphrase, probably do a video on that here in a little bit, or maybe tomorrow. Running out of time today. But I want you to get a little bit of practice with MLA formatting, how to put the research that you do into your essay. With this last final project. Because keep in mind, after you complete this class, you're free to take a college level writing class after this, right? If you want to. But your essay has to have 4 sections. The first one's kind of your introduction. Wants you to provide a general description and also give us the specific field. Don't just say you want to be a welder. Do you want to be a travel welder, an underwater welder, whatever different kind of welders there are. Try and be as specific as you can. You may not quite know at this point, but go ahead and kind of research for this essay, see what's out there for you. But the primary argument you're making in this essay is that you're suitable for that chosen profession, and you have a pretty good plan of how you're going to get from point A to point B, which you're already involved in that because you're here at Northeast State, right? Then the second section, you're going to give some of the detailed requirements for the job. What kind of certificates do you need? Just because you have a certificate doesn't mean you get a job. You might have to go through an apprenticeship or more certification, particularly if you want to specialize in underwater welding. We don't offer that at Northeast State as far as I know. So where are you going to go to learn that, right? The required physical abilities. You can make a lot of money doing underwater welding, but it's dangerous work, and you got to be pretty physically fit. I probably couldn't do something like that. I'm 57 years old now. What kind of personality traits, things like that. Some people like to get into HVAC repair. You got to have good interpersonal skills, right? Because you got to go into people's homes and talk to them and tell them what's wrong with their equipment and why it's going to cost them $1,000 to fix it. And kind of find a way to do that effectively. So it's kind of interesting to get into those kinds of things. Within the second section, you're going to have your academic plan that you've already submitted. You just got to cut and paste it in there and credit the source of where you got that information from. It'd be nice if you could go ahead and talk about the total estimated financial cost to earn your certificate, including books and everything. What's the cost to come to Northeast State and get your certificate and be ready for the workforce? It's generally not free for, even if you're on Tennessee Province, you got to pay for the books and gas and all that kind of stuff to get here, right? The third section, and you may have more than one paragraph in each one of these sections, by the way. In fact, you probably should. The third section, you're going to discuss your chosen career. You want to go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics site. Look up what you're going to do with your certificate, and start providing some salary information. And by the way, make sure as you provide information like this, you're commenting on it. Don't just say the average salary is $34,000 a year. Is that enough for you? Is that good money, or is that just kind of the beginning and you're going to work your way up? How does your particular profession work? Are there local job opportunities, national or international job opportunities? Some jobs they're starting to outsource things overseas, so you got to be careful there. The nice thing about welding or electricity, we need you here right now in the Tri-Cities. We're kind of getting in a building boom, right? What are the future prospects? Also, as you kind of get in it, after you do a welding for 10, 15 years, can you move upward on your own welding shop, or become a manager of some type? What other possibilities are there as you kind of age and maybe can't handle the physical nature of some of these jobs? I was in the restaurant business for about 20 years before I started teaching, and the 100-degree kitchens, and I was getting, in my late 30s. That started wearing me down a little bit. So, I changed careers basically. I didn't want to be a restaurant manager, and it's like, well, what else do you do if you, do you want to cook for the rest of your life? It's a difficult, physically demanding job. So I made some changes there. Same thing there with you all. What are you going to do? Can you move upward? Can you become, management, things like that? Or are there other possible career jobs that you can you start getting into? Can you open your own shop? Can you? What else can you do there? It kind of depends on your certificate and what you're looking to do with your life, right? Section 4. And again, Section 3 is kind of a very kind of interesting kind of thing to get into. How long can you do this, and are you going to be making the money you want to be making? And is the job going to be there in 10, 15 years, right? Majoring in English doesn't have much of a future in it, because the job market's shrinking, and they're still pumping out a lot of graduates. So something for me to think about. But anyway, Section 4, want to discuss your suitability for the job, including a discussion of at least 3 good things, 3 bad things, the levels of stress. Here you might do some more research, find a source that kind of talks about whatever you're getting into. What causes that stress? What kind of retention or turnover rates are there for the job? Good example of that is teaching. Within the first 5 years, people who get their teaching degrees and go into schools and start teaching, after about 5 years, about a quarter of them leave. That's a lot of work to just work 5 years and find out you don't like the job. So you want to talk about this stuff. If you have a high turnover or retention rate, what's causing that, and can you deal with those kinds of pressures that are causing that turnover? The clubs and organizations you can join, particularly professional organizations. So volunteer, internship possibilities. How are you going to develop contacts and references? What are you going to do between now and the time you get your certificate to make yourself marketable, so that when you do graduate, you get the job you want, right? Lots of people get the same certificate or degrees other students get. So what's going to set you apart from the crowd is kind of the big question. One thing I didn't quite talk about in Section 1 there, make sure you tell us what got you interested in your particular field. When my first college degree was a culinary degree, I didn't particularly like college the first time I tried it, and I didn't do well at it. I just wasn't quite ready. I wanted to work with my hands and make money quickly, and the culinary degree kind of did that for me. Obviously I changed my mind as I got older, but kind of make sure you talk about that a little bit. What makes you want to be a welder or a machinist, or whatever it is you're getting your certificate in. But basically, you're going to follow that outline for the sample career essay. His is a lot more involved. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what kind of certifications it takes to do whatever you're going to be doing. But kind of follow that idea. He kind of talks and, how do I get in, why does he want to do this, how to get into it. Then he's just basically following the assignment sheet. Like I said, his is a little more complicated where he's in dual enrollment, and then he's got to do a 4-year degree and probably more training after that. So if you want to work for NASA, you got to get into the internship programs and all that good stuff. But notice what he's doing there. Make sure you notice how he gives information and he comments on it. Really, this essay is about you, and you're putting the research about your career into your story as you tell it. Again, you're going to send me the URLs for your sources, and then I'm going to make the works cited page entries for you. But when you start using sources in your essay, you're going to have to cite using the first word on the works cited page and a page number if you have one. Most people don't have page numbers for these sources. So when you quote from something or summarize from something, you're going to be using a citation like this. And this tells me that this information he's using here in this short quote is going to come from a source called SpaceX. If I come down here, there's that SpaceX source. I can go straight to that source and make sure that quote is accurate. So as you're going back over that sample essay and you see these citations in the quote in the parentheses, there's another one. That's the writer telling you that this is where I'm getting this information from. He just didn't wake up one day and know what NASA wants with a mechanical engineer. He got that from somewhere, so it's from this AST source. He decided using the first word on the works cited page, and there it is right there. So MLA formatting is not that complicated if you don't overthink it too much. But every time you see one of these citations, keep in mind that's just telling you which source that information is coming from. And there's estimated right there. So once I have your works cited page done, when you start using sources in your essay, you're going to just use the first word on the works cited page in the body of your essay when you use that source. But I think that's about all I had to say. Again, feel free to work ahead on this essay. You might have to send me an email saying, hey, I put that in the Dropbox. But if you have any questions about it all, be sure to let me know. And we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.